Bitcoin exploded over the weekend and culminated yesterday in the largest single-day price increase ever. A historic day in more ways than one. I unpack all the milestones, including Bitcoin's market cap flipping the value of all the silver on the planet, and reaching new all-time highs priced in gold. Sorry, Peter Schiff. So who's buying? Could it be nation-states front-running a potential US strategic reserve? Or is it ultra-high net worth individuals, companies, and institutions? Whoever it is, all signs point to us still being on the launch pad, and $100,000 Bitcoin is just the first magnet. What a day yesterday. Every time I blinked, the Bitcoin price seemed to jump another $1,000 to $2,000. And when it was all said and done, Bitcoin completed the largest single-day price increase in history, going up by $8,343. But the historic milestones didn't stop there. At 88K, Bitcoin surpassed the market cap of silver. To really help let that sink in, here's a post on X from Francis Pouliot, Bitcoin OG and CEO of Canadian exchange Bull Bitcoin. Silver has been the most widespread form of money in human history. For thousands of years, at any civilized city on Earth, silver would be accepted as payment. Bitcoin now stores more value than every piece of silver that has ever touched human hands since the dawn of time. Absolutely incredible. Bitcoin also surpassed its all-time high priced in gold, hitting over 34 ounces or 1 kilogram of gold per Bitcoin. The monetary premium of precious metals is being eaten up by Bitcoin in real time, and this is just the beginning. Another milestone comes from record volume across Bitcoin ETFs and related company stocks. Eric Balchunas, senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg, posted this yesterday afternoon. The Bitcoin industrial complex, which is the ETFs plus MicroStrategy plus Coinbase, saw $38 billion in trading volume today. Lifetime records being set all over the place, including IBIT, which did $4.5 billion, which points to a robust week of inflows. Just an insane day. It really deserves a nickname a la Volmageddon. And this first bull market rally doesn't even seem to be finished yet. All of these milestones happen on a day where banks were closed in the US, which means so many wire transfers have been sitting in limbo until today. ETF inflows continue to go parabolic today as IBIT, the largest Bitcoin ETF managed by BlackRock, surpassed $1 billion of volume within the first 25 minutes of trading this morning. So this begs the question, who's doing all the buying? All signs point to retail still being asleep at the wheel. Many first assumed it was Saylor and MicroStrategy as he announced a $2 billion purchase earlier yesterday, but the cost basis of their purchase was down at $74,000. It could be a nation or nation-states attempting to front-run the potential for the Trump administration's proposed strategic Bitcoin reserve. Senator Cynthia Lummis, who proposed the strategic Bitcoin reserve bill, reportedly said that she is confident they could pass the plan within the first 100 days of Trump's presidency. And it might not just be nation-states front-running the US government aping into Bitcoin. Barbara Goldstein, managing partner at an ultra-wealthy community for centimillionaires, was on CNBC yesterday and provided us this uber-bullish clip.
Take on Trump's victory. Now let's find out what wealthy investors think with Barbara Goodstein, managing partner at R360, an ultra-wealthy community for centimillionaires. Barbara, good morning. Great to have you here. So last time you were here, you wore red. You said it was by accident. This time you said it was on purpose. So is that a sign of what these centimillionaires think about this election?
Well, that is a sign that Trump won the election, and we think that there is a lot of big news coming. We had our market opportunities and risks meeting last week, and there's a lot of upside from this win.
All right, so these investors are excited about the win and obviously what it means going forward. One thing you say they're excited about is Bitcoin. So I mentioned to one of our earlier guests that BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, it now has more assets under management than their gold ETF. Of course, we know gold is a safe haven. I know a lot of your investors, they hold gold as well. What's their sentiment when it comes to Bitcoin? And are they doing it directly or through ETF?
We're very high on Bitcoin, and we've been talking about Bitcoin for the past few years. We recommend doing it directly because you don't pay taxes if you're doing it directly, so that's a big difference. But we think that Bitcoin could become the next strategic reserve asset. So the country now holds 232,000 Bitcoin. We think that Trump could bump that up to over 1 million.
So this tells us that besides nation-states, ultra-high net worth individuals, companies, and institutions are aware of the very real possibility of the US government buying Bitcoin. What do you think they do next? And the dominoes just keep falling today as publicly traded AI firm Genius Group announced they are adopting Bitcoin as their primary treasury asset and plans to acquire an initial $120 million of Bitcoin. This shift in momentum feels permanent. Traditional finance people are starting to wake up to Bitcoin en masse. Which brings me to this clip of Tad Smith, CEO, investor, and finance professor, talking about his Bitcoin journey and the startling realizations that resulted from it.
I didn't realize that if the average year the money printer goes, call it 8 to 10%, even in the Western countries, even in the OECD nations. And the average return on the S&P 500 is, call it 9-ish%, including dividends, maybe 9.7, maybe a little less. That it means that all of the work of the S&P 500, all of the value created there is actually the money printer. That to me was startling. I mean, to think about that, the fundamental notion that in a closed system or even an open system, when you're printing money at the rate of 8 to 10% a year, everything is losing value, and the things that appear to be gaining value are not gaining value. They're just keeping you even. So you can put all your money in the S&P 500 and you're not gaining any relative wealth at all. That's a startling insight. I mean, when you really think about the entire value of the S&P 500, on average over a long period of time, not even a long period of time, is equivalent to the money printer. That's, to me, a shock. And it was a shock that said, oh my goodness, how do you think about creating wealth that is relatively greater in this economy? And you have to look hard. The other thing you can imagine is I could tell you about Sharpe ratios and diversification. I could tell you all these different things. You know, it's interesting. You can take a concept like diversification of risk, and at a top level, it can be a very powerful and useful tool. But if you are so focused on the mechanistic aspect of that, you can step back and miss the forest, which is in a highly diversified portfolio, it's unbelievably hard to pick up relative amounts of wealth. Diversifying your portfolio, however you do it, is by and large going to reduce your incremental gain in wealth, irrespective of the Sharpe ratio. It's concentration of capital in specific bets that outperform the money printer where you actually create wealth. That was a shock to me. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it. Even though I taught finance for 20 plus years, I'm still a professor at NYU Stern, at Stern Business School. I've taught strategy and finance for technology, media, and entertainment companies for 25 years. I have actually more than 1,000 former students. And I still didn't get it until I'm age 58. That's the Bitcoin journey.
So if 58-year-old traditional investors, ultra-high net worth individuals, companies, institutions, and nation states are waking up to the real value proposition of Bitcoin, this makes it clear that we are still firmly on the launch pad, and this run hasn't even started yet. Now, I got some messages yesterday from friends and family, as I'm sure many of you did, wondering if they're too late to Bitcoin. This is my message to them and anyone else who is just now looking at Bitcoin. You are not too late. It's important to fight the urge to panic and FOMO everything in at once. Take your time, buy some, and while you continue to learn about what it is you're buying, you can start a recurring buy plan every day, week, or month. And you can do all of that through Swan. Visit swan.com or download the app by searching Swan Bitcoin in the App Store. You go from sign up to buying Bitcoin within minutes. Plus, you get your first $10,000 in purchases with zero fees. And if you already own Bitcoin and woke up this morning shocked at the increase in your net worth and feel the need to upgrade your self-custody security, Swan Vault is for you. Swan Vault is a collaborative self-custody solution that increases security greatly without sacrificing sovereignty. Learn more by visiting swan.com/vault. And one last word of advice for those that are new. Resist the urge to trade this thing. You may have bought at 50 or 60K and now you see that you're up 40% and you're getting the urge that you should maybe sell now and buy back in the next dip. It sounds perfectly logical and easy on the surface, but the reality is that most traders lose over time, even the professional traders who do it for a living. You can't time the market, you're not smarter than the market, and you're definitely not smarter than professional traders that do this for a living. You may get lucky and get 1 or 2 wins, but eventually you will lose, and you will lose big. Bitcoin isn't about gambling for more fiat. It's about trading your hard-earned money for a better form of money that won't steal from you over time. Many Bitcoiners see this thing going to $1 million plus per Bitcoin by around 2030. So just stay humble and keep saving your money in Bitcoin and adding to your stack during dips, and your future self will thank you. That's it for today. Let me know what you think of this historic rally in the comments below. Like this video and share it with your friends and family who are new. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more high signal Bitcoin content. Thanks for watching, and remember, TikTok next block.